Hey, welcome back to the Gospel in 3D. I'm enjoying taking this journey with you. My name is Derek Van Ruler, and I'm here to equip and encourage you to live every day with gospel intentionality. And I hope these videos have been a huge help to you. If so, would you please comment either under the video on our Facebook post or email the church at info@sunburycitychurch.com to let me know how God is using these videos in your life. I want to be here for you and to ensure this content is helping you in your everyday life. My hope in these videos is to give you simple content that you can take each and every day and immediately apply it to your life. It's not meant to overwhelm you or burden you. And so I want to encourage you that if you've missed any of the previous videos, or maybe you've gotten off track, go back and watch those and then take a step of faith. I know many of these concepts are brand new to you. That's okay, because guess what? If you are a follower of Jesus Christ, He is with you. And that matters because you're doing none of this alone. And it matters because if you do mess up, if you do make a mistake, guess what? There is grace for you. This is a place of freedom where you can try new things by faith in Jesus and see what He does. And I hope you take up that challenge. There's no better feeling than taking steps of faith with Jesus Christ. Now, in the last few videos, we've been talking about the gospel. We've discovered simple ways of looking at the gospel, and then we've looked at how to apply that gospel to our lives. Again, if you missed any of those videos, please press pause on this video and go back to catch up on those past videos. But then the last time we looked at how to deal with our sin by looking at some questions that get to the source idols in our hearts and how to begin to apply the gospel truth to those areas of our lives. Now today, I want to give you a real life example from my own life of how you can take these questions and apply them to your life and heart. So the way that I'm wired is to be an accomplisher. I'm one who loves to get things done and accomplish great things for the Lord. For years, I wrestle with that. Many people told me that if I like to accomplish things, that means I don't love people. But I find that hard to believe because Jesus says in John 17, in his high priestly prayer, that he came and accomplished all that God had for him to do. If tasks don't matter, then why would Jesus frame his life in those terms as he reflects upon his life? So I've learned that we need to stop pitting the two against each other. But I've got to admit that accomplishing tasks and caring for people can honestly feel like a weight. And I've talked with a lot of people who feel the unending needs of people around the world, and they feel their own limitations. So just as my accomplishments can be heavy to bear, so can the needs of others be heavy. And if you're like me, you might want to try to understand, how does this factor out into your everyday life? You see, one thing I discovered a few months back was that every single day when I came home and I entered my house and I took a seat at the counter for dinner with my family, one question always dogged me. The question of, how was your day? And I often base that answer on what I accomplished. You may base it on how you've met people's needs. So for me, when I hit my marks, when I got things off my list and I hit those high notes, the things that are really important on your list, I felt great about my day. But when I failed my to-do list, I felt like I had a horrible day. What was happening? Well, after some prayer and introspection, I discovered that the way I viewed myself was tied to the success of my day, that I had longed to be successful, longed to feel like I had power, or rather victory over my day and my list, that when I achieved my list, I felt this sense of power, but when I failed my list, I felt like a loser. And in that moment, I was resting in my own power and not the power of Jesus Christ. In that moment, I needed to remember, it doesn't matter how I do on my to-do list. Now, I need to work heartily as if working for the Lord. Colossians 3:23 tells me that. But I don't need to see my victory in what I accomplish. I have been given a greater victory than that. In the cross of Jesus Christ, I haven't overcome today's to-do list. I've overcome eternity's to-do list. And what is that? To be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. But I can't. I'm not. I won't ever be able to, at least not in my own power. But because of Jesus' perfection and because he died in my place to give me his perfection and then rose from the dead to prove that perfection, I am now made perfect and will experience that perfection for all of eternity. And guess what? What a freedom that gives me. I don't have to base my days on what I've done, but rather on what Jesus has done. And that is a huge blessing that has changed the way I come home and eat dinner. So praise Jesus for the gospel. So there you have it. One way to apply the gospel to your life, or rather my life. I hope that was helpful, and I want to continue to encourage you to remind yourself of gospel truths every single day. And until next time, God bless.